When we look back at the ancient world, we tend to put epics like the Odyssey and the Ramayana in the exact same box. Beautiful, culturally significant, but they are viewed as entirely fictional. It is easy to see why. The text talks of monkey armies, kings ruling for 11,000 years, and flying chariots. But the author, Valmiki, didn't call his work a myth. He categorized it as itihasa, a Sanskrit term that translates directly to actual recorded history. Curious, if you run the text through modern investigative tools, the narrative shifts. The data stops reading like magic. Treat the epic as a precise technical chronicle, and a verifiable physical history of the ancient world emerges. Dating ancient texts is notoriously difficult. To get around this, Valmiki embedded highly specific planetary alignments into his writing to mark time. When researchers feed those specific planetary positions into modern celestial mapping software, the software locks in to a precise, verifiable birth date for Lord Rama, January 10th, 5114 BCE. That exact date creates an immediate historical problem. The text states that Rama ruled for 11,000 years, a biological impossibility that makes the timeline look fabricated. A specific conversion formula for that number sits inside another ancient text, the Mahabharata. It explicitly dictates that for a righteous king, 1 day is equal to a year. We can test that formula. If you take a standard ancient calendar year of 360 days and multiply it by a reign of 30.5 years, the result is exactly 11,000. The timeline in the text is an incredibly accurate ancient timekeeping metric. We simply forgot the math required to read it. The investigation moves from the stars down to the ocean. A major section of the epic describes a massive bridge built across the sea by a monkey army to reach Lanka. The text records exact engineering specifications for this structure, a length of 100 yojanas, an ancient unit of measurement, and a width of 10. This diagram shows what those measurements require structurally. It outlines a highly specific, non-natural ratio of exactly 10:1. Look at satellite imagery of the Palk Strait between India and Sri Lanka. A sunken land bridge exists exactly where the epic places it. Modern geographical measurements of this formation show it is 35 kilometers long and 3.5 kilometers wide, matching the 10:1 ratio perfectly. Oceanographic carbon dating places the shoreline of this structure at roughly 7,000 years old. This aligns directly with the astronomical date calculated from the planetary software. We have physical, geological data matching the text's geography. It requires us to look at the rest of the epic's physical descriptions as actual history. That brings us to the most contested element of the story, Ravana's Pushpak Vimana, described as a flying chariot. An ancient manual called the Vaimanika Shastra contains detailed chapters on aeronautics, metallurgy, and propulsion fuels. The magic chariot matches the description of a highly technical machine. Flying machines require physical infrastructure. If Ravana operated them, the geography of his kingdom in modern-day Sri Lanka should show evidence of it. Across Sri Lanka, there are 6 specific ancient sites bearing traditional Sinhalese names, such as Wariapola and Garulapotha. This map shows the locations of those sites. When you translate those ancient Sinhalese names into English, they mean aircraft landing space and parts of birds, indicating repair centers or hangars. These linguistic markers suggest that the magic described in the epic is often ancient infrastructure we haven't fully unearthed. The celestial clockwork, the 10:1 geological ratios, and persistent aviation place names all align. They point to a tangible, advanced era of human history. If a civilization was this advanced, you have to ask how all of it was reduced to a fairy tale. Hindu cosmology operates on the concept of cyclical time. Human progress doesn't move in a straight, permanent line. It rises to a peak and then resets, with ancient cities eroding and vanishing under thick jungle over thousands of years. The Ramayana is a meticulously preserved chronicle of an earlier cycle. We are only now technologically advanced enough to understand it.